whether it be Demetrius in Acts, the silversmith, backing up the pagans and the craftsmen, trying to pretend that they're superior to the moral warrior spirit of God, or it is Enki, a deity of knowledge, sexual immorality, semen, fertility, water, crafts, magic. The craftsmen have always been in the wrong whenever they've challenged the moral martial art warrior order. Neither the scientist, the sage, the scribe, or any other variation of a craftsman, nor the common craftsman, should ever be elevated above the martial arts spirit. The Lord thy God is not a carpenter. He is a warrior, and his son was said to be a carpenter. There's a big difference. You might think it shouldn't need to be pointed out, but I literally live in a society, and humanity will always live in a society that will never truly appreciate why their behavior reflects their inability to concede this point. It's very straightforward and very obvious point. All right, so in this video, I'm going to cover 1 Samuel 15:22 through 23 and Hosea 4:6. And why? Because I'm going to knock out the idea of wordplay, the principle of wordplay, the idea of the word, as an effective teaching mechanism. To use wordplay to explore the idea of the word. The principle of not shifting the blame, and the principle of repetition and sensitivity to injustice, including generational repetition. Obviously, the principle of image is also important, and they're messing up my voice, making me sound like this, and I resent them, and I resent the people that I sound like more as a result of them making me sound this way. And of course, they have drugged me to reduce, because of their insecurities with their masculinity, their lack thereof, they have fueled me and drugged me to reduce masculine expression. All right, so let's read this, and we'll explore some of the wordplay and show you how it makes sense. So 1 Samuel 15:22 through 23. But Samuel replied, "Does the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as obeying the Lord? To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. For rebellion is like the sin of divination, and arrogance like the evil of idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he has rejected you as king." Why is every other person who claims to be ideal, who claims to be a worthy leader, rejected? Because they have rejected the word of the Lord. The Lord thy God is a warrior. You have rejected this word, Exodus 15:3. You have rejected the martial art order. You are rejected as a priest. You are rejected as a king. We'll get into that in Hosea 4:6. This guy is the one who knows God. No one but the Son knows God. Okay. No one has seen the face of God but me. In the martial art order, no one understands God better than I do, and no one truly understands God as a result but me. Because the Lord thy God is a warrior. Exodus 15:3. He is a warrior. He has bestowed strength on a warrior is another scripture as well. So we look at offerings. Right? Off-e rings. Remember, E for N, meaning Lord. Enki and Leal, Sumerian, garbage. E in Sumerian meant temple. What temple? The craftsman temple. These are deities of the craftsmen. These Sumerians were not warriors. Look at their statues. They were sissies. They were weirdos. They were craftsmen. Okay? They were magic trick, crafty. See rift, the rift between the craftsmen and the warriors in Africa. Craftsmen. Over there in the Middle East. Far away from the heart of the warrior spirit in Africa, Nigeria. Who eventually, these types of people unified Egypt. Off-e rings. Get rid of them, right? Offering a ram, right? The Baphomet, the goat of Mendes, okay? The ram is brute force. He rams you. He's not precision strikes like the falcon or the leopard. They're ramming you, right? Law, claw, sea law, talon, and talents, right? Off-e rings. Also, we have divination. Divine alpha shun. See, the principle of wordplay as an effective teaching mechanism, okay, in terms of describing their bitch. For me to explain to you why they put their wordplay bitch into this shit, right? Magic spells, occult spells, anagrams, words like listen is silent, scrambled. That's an anagram, Okay, there's all kinds of cute little words like that to explain the wordplay. Okay, gospel, go, spell, magic, spell. It also puts you in a daze that you're like, whoa, because he's a deity of confusion. That's why all these languages that deal in wordplay, writing, read and read, they're from the deity of confusion. Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. See, we have the principle, an example, a very sound example of the principle of repetition and sensitivity to injustice. Because of your lack of sensitivity to injustice, God has rejected you as king. Here's another example. Let's see. Let's see if I can. All right. All right. So 1 Kings 3:9. So give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong. For who is able to govern this great people of yours? He wants a discerning heart. Proverbs 25:2. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search out a matter is the glory of kings. What is a king? A leader, a spiritual leader who has a sword. The Lord thy God is a warrior. So to search out a matter is the glory of kings. What glory does a king? He may as well be a peasant if he doesn't seek the Lord with all of his heart. Psalms 119:2. Blessed are those who keep his statutes and seek him with all their heart. They do no wrong but follow his ways. You have laid down precepts that are to be fulfilled. To be fully obeyed. Oh, that my ways were steadfast in obeying your decrees, then I would not be put to shame when I consider all your commands. Right. This guy, he's saying he's not perfect. Unlike me, I'm blameless. I will praise you with an upright heart as I learn your righteous laws. I have sought your face with all my heart. Be gracious to me according to your promise. Okay, so he sought the face of God with all of his heart. Okay, in this scripture, Psalms 119. In earlier in Psalms 119, seek him with all your heart. So seek him with all your heart, discerning heart. Okay, these are examples of repetition, right? You're seeking him and you're being sensitive to injustice while you're walking on the path. And I'm going to release a video that shows you all the light. The lamp is the scripture about the lamp instruction and correction to walk on the path. Who's instructing you, right? The king, the divine verdict. By them rejecting me as king, they're rejecting God. God accepted me as king because my throne is established on righteousness. Okay? And because I am who I am. Okay? But these other guys have rejected the word of the Lord. They've also rejected knowledge. What kind of knowledge? Royal, African, transcendent, hero, martial arts, spiritual knowledge. Even Hebrew is an Afro-Asiatic dialect. They've rejected this idea. We live in a society where martial arts makes swords and all these weapons, and they have all these uniforms and these things that confuse you about the African martial arts supremacy. If an African was given the weapons he needed that were appropriate to his body, remember the craftsmen versus the warriors, they're cheating the African martial art warrior structure. So, and they're giving the craftsmen the weapons they need to these other guys, the whites, the Asians, the Jews, to confuse you about the fact that if the African could skywalk with the appropriate weapon that was appropriate for time, he'd easily outmaneuver this guy. He'd stab him. This guy would swing with his sword. He'd swing. He'd hit the sword at the right part that would send it away, and then he'd stab the big white craftsman in the stomach, for example. Right? These guys, I don't care about race. These are the guys trying to cheat me out of my rightful place and pretend they're superior. And it goes supremacy. Supreme Alpha C. Okay? It is the Royal African martial arts structure, not the craftsman and the armor. I mean, you all know this.